in 2008. Chelsea would have been European champions and Avram Grant would have the biggest medal in continental club football to his name. It stands to reason then that he would have stayed at Stamford Bridge for a bit longer, meaning that Luis Felipe Scolari wouldn't have got a look in. Would he have done better than the World Cup winning Brazilian, who only lasted till February the following year? And could he have improved upon Chelsea's third-place finish? And as for United, who won the title that season, would defeats in that Moscow final have led to Cristiano Ronaldo leaving the club for Real Madrid a year earlier? And would that have meant that Rafa Benitez's Liverpool won the Premier League instead of them? That's a pretty big butterfly effect, all from one missed penalty kick going the other way. And if you want to dig a bit deeper, there's plenty more that could have been affected. What if Anthony Knockaert had scored his penalty against Watford? We'd have been denied the Troy Deeney moment, sure, but might Leicester have gone on to win promotion to the Premier League earlier than scheduled? And would that have meant that Claudio Ranieri would never make it to the King Power? Would Arsenal or Tottenham, therefore, have been champions in 2016? The most significant sliding doors moment perhaps ever, though, was Paul Gascoigne, Wembley, June 1996. What if this had gone in? That golden goal would have sent England to the Euro 96 final against Czech Republic. 30 years of hurt could well have come to an end. There's so many of these moments that could have altered destiny forever. What if Shearer had signed for United? Would Lampard's ghost goal against Germany have kick-started England's World Cup back in 2010? What if Sam Allardyce didn't get bogged down in all that controversy and denied Gareth Southgate the England job? Does make you think.
Good morning, I'm Laura Kirk-Francis. This is the Early Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. We are building up to 6 o'clock this morning on The Breakfast Show with Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonlahor. They'll get into Spurs' Carabao Cup win over Charlton last night. Spurs fans getting carried away already, is it, by the sounds of things? And they'll be joined by Egyptian striker Mido. Then at 10, Jim White and Simon Jordan will be joined by Danny Murphy. But Nick, we've got a lot to get through over the next hour. What are we going to be talking about this morning?
So much. We'll start with the Carabao Cup. Good morning, Laura. Can smaller teams still dream of winning it? Are Newcastle a smaller team? We'll get into that.
Oh, are Newcastle a smaller team?
Smaller. Just comparative.
Okay.
Comparative.
Yeah,
smaller.
No.
You don't know who I was comparing?
No, I don't.
We've got the latest transfer news as Villa make huge moves. We'll hear from a man who's going home to he's not going home to his fiancée till he shoots a round of golf under par. God bless her. So we're asking, what is your best sporting achievement? We will accept, however small they are. Get in touch. 03717 223344. Send us a voice note or a text. 81089.
Right then, let's get into it. Right, your best sporting achievements. I'm going to put in a request here. I want the smallest, nichest ones. I want to know if you scored a goal on the playground that you've never forgotten about. You know, where you think, I'm never ever going to score a better goal than that. And it was.
You got one of those?
Joe, I wrote down a few that I can remember. But my pinnacle is probably under 11.
Yep.
It's a year 6. My school netball team won what's called IAPS. I have no idea what that stands for. It does still exist, but it's like a national competition.
Right.
And I just remember thinking, I don't think life gets any better than this.
What's your position?
I'm a centre.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I do the running.
Playmaker.
Yeah, I'm the playmaker. I'm the
pulling the strings.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the puppet master. I'm the N'Golo Kante, if you will. But that is probably, and that was, I mean, we're getting on for 30 years ago, basically.
Incredible.
Yeah. How about you?
It's funny it goes back to school.
Yeah.
Well, most satisfying was getting my geography teacher out in cricket. When I started playing men's cricket about 14, 15, and I can't remember what he was playing for another club, and he come out to bat. I didn't know he was playing. I was like, oh, all right, Mr. Gilbert.
Mr. Gilbert.
Mr. Gilbert. Shout out to Mr. Gilbert.
Gilbert.
And I got him caught behind, hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, did you celebrate?
He was swearing like a sailor as he marched off to the dressing room.
Oh, that's amazing. Did he give you detention or anything? Any repercussions for that?
No, but he didn't. He wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
I did let him have it the next week at school as
Oh,
well.
that's amazing. One thing I love, I used to coach football before I sort of started doing proper work. And one of my favourite things is we'd go into schools and we'd often do a penalty shootout at the end of the session. Teachers always wanted to get involved, and a lot of them could not bring it down a notch. They're taking penalties against under 11s at full pelt.
Yeah.
And I have respect for that level of competitiveness. That
Well,
I don't care if it's a child.
Well, Michael, he's 12.
Yeah, exactly. How about this then, Nick, as well? We're going to talk about the Carabao Cup today.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about changing your name to rebrand?
Do you know what? I did before university. I thought I was changing my name to Nicholas, just become Nicholas. But then I thought, no, it's too pretentious, and I just dropped it.
So you thought you'd sort of reinvent yourself at uni as Nicholas?
Yeah.
And what kind of personality do you think that would have brought?
I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. Because you just go away and you're like, I can do what I want now.
Yeah. Nobody knows that I was a complete loser at school.
Called Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to be a whole new.
Have you ever changed your name?
Well, I mean, I've changed my name having got married.
Yeah.
So my married name is Double Barrel now.
Okay.
Which I do think adds a certain.
Kirk Francis.
Yeah, I quite like it.
Yeah. Bit of gravitas.
But it does, doesn't it?
Well, I think Savio's name is Savio Moreira de Oliveira, right? And Savinho is just like a little nickname.
Yeah.
But I think it's because he didn't do very well at Man City.
He's just like, right, if I change my name,
start again.
Does he think we'll not know who he is?
Well, he stuck one in the onion bag last night.
He did. Against Charlton.
Can't say it's not working.
Let's not get too carried away. Right then, we want to hear from you. What is your greatest sporting achievement? You just heard Nick's there getting his geography teacher out of cricket, me winning a netball competition aged about 11, and it's been downhill from there. So we want to hear your best sporting achievements. Give us a call 03717 223344 or on the text 81089. What is the pinnacle of your sporting career? We want to hear them. Right then, let's get into Wednesday night's Carabao Cup action. And as we've just discussed there, what a difference a name change makes. Now, Savio, the Brazilian, opened his Spurs account as they smashed Charlton. And here's how that and the rest of the last night's action sounded on talkSPORT.
Is Savio. Welcome to Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham's new boy just shows that £85 million price tag is going to be no impediment to him. Much changed Charlton team, well beaten. Spurs 5, Charlton 1.
This to wrap it up. Phillips straight down the middle. And Bradford City are through to the third round of the League Cup. Burnley's wait for a win goes on, yet to win under their new boss.
Leicester 0, Everton 4. Brennan Johnson has his first Everton goal, set up by the man that's got the hat-trick. Tieno Barry, a very professional performance.
Low ball in, Barnes swivels, hits it, smashes it home, and the Gallagher erupts.
Towards the end, there was one or two contentious decisions, but Newcastle came out unscathed, and they win the game by 3 goals to 2.
Yeah, Carabao Cup well underway then. Your pick of the bunch, probably Spurs beating Charlton 5-1. A Charlton team who, let's just not forget, 10 changes to that team. Lots of changes for Spurs as well, and I'm sure they'll be absolutely delighted with the start that Savio's made. Harvey Barnes with the winner for Newcastle as well. Now, Nathan Jones, who we're going to hear about in a second, has asked whether smaller teams can still dream of winning the League Cup. Fresh from 5-1 hammering by Spurs, the Charlton head coach Nathan Jones says no.
We're not going to win this competition. Well, we're going to win tonight was an upset on the card. It's very difficult to beat Premier League sides now. It's not like the olden days where, there's a dodgy pitch and the rain hammers down and you can get in amongst them and all that. It's not. You see it now. It's different. These are billion-pound squads now, like in terms of what they have, and they can make changes. They can bring off the bench. And we're not in that position. So it was about looking after them, because no one's going to remember this game, but our championship season is 2 games in and 44 to go, and that's our bread and butter. So of course we have to protect the squad.
He's got a point, to be honest, Nathan Jones. Apart from Saudi-owned Newcastle back in 2025, you have to go back to 2013 to find a non-traditional Big Six club to win the EFL Cup. That was Swansea back in 2013. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because you want the big sides to take it seriously. You want them to be fielding their strong team so that this competition feels like it's worthwhile. But equally, that lessens the chances of some of the smaller sides going on a run. That said, though, you only have to go back to this time last year. Grimsby Town 2, Man United 2. Grimsby winning that one on penalties. 2025 as well. Sheffield Wednesday beat Leeds. So the EFL still can give us those upsets that keep us interested, but I have to agree with Nathan Jones there. It's a pretty bleak reading when you see how many times Man City have won it, going back to 2013, the last time a non-traditional Big Six club has won it. And again, those squad costs as well. You know, Charlton, 10 changes, but Spurs were also able to make changes and bring on one of their new signings. So maybe not the even playing ground that it used to be. Now, Newcastle. Let's have a little chat about Newcastle then. A very happy Nico Gonzalez was unveiled to a raucous reception at St James's Park. The midfield has arrived from Man City for £52 million. Newcastle boss Matthias Eisler was asked what his aims are for this season.
That we're improving, that we're showing always the commitment like we did now in the first 2 matches. There will be up and downs, as you know, and you mentioned that. There's a huge transition phase and there will be many challenges ahead of us. But how the guys performing, how the guys responding, it's really something we can be proud of.
Newcastle started really, really well at the weekend, didn't they? I think they looked so impressive against Liverpool and were really, really unlucky not to get a win there. So it's been a difficult summer for Newcastle, losing such a core part of their team. But ultimately, new manager, also the fan base. You can't keep Geordies down for long. I feel like as a fan base, they always find a way to be optimistic and get behind the manager. So it's a kind of stabilising of the ship, but ultimately Newcastle is still a huge club, and that signing of Nico Gonzalez will be excellent for them, and I think will give them that kind of impetus to build on that performance, maybe not the result, against Liverpool at the weekend. On to the other side of the Mersey, though, on to Everton, following Everton's 4-0 win over Preston. Jason Cundy's had a pop at the Toffees. Again, I feel like he's done this a couple of times. On the sports bar, Everton are the only club not to win a trophy or get promoted since the year 2000. So effectively 26 years without anything major to cheer about. Essentially saying, Jason Cundy says, they don't do anything. Wow, some strong words there. Here's what Cundy told Charlie Austin.
When I grew up as a kid, right, Everton were one of the biggest clubs, and they still are in the country, right? I watched them win the Cup Winners' Cup. Was it Cup Winners' Cup? I think it was a Cup Winners' Cup.
When?
They beat Rapid Vienna, I think. Everton fans will be able to tell me. They won the old First Division, right? Now they don't do anything. They won the FA Cup back in 95. They don't do anything. They don't do anything in the Cups. They got one FA Cup final, can remember, but Chelsea beat them. Don't do anything in Europe. They always flirt with relegation for a little bit of the season.
Wait.
What?
Wait, so
what?
Someone in my ear has just said there has been 2 solar eclipses since Everton's won anything.
What a way to measure time. There's been 2 solar eclipses since Everton last won something, but they've got a great new stadium, and that's the real quiz, surely. Right then, we've got some action tonight on talkSPORT. Carabao Cup second round, 7:30, Chelsea versus Luton on talkSPORT. And in Europe, Conference League playoff second leg, Brighton at Tromsø. That's on talkSPORT, exclusive to talkSPORT 2 at 7:30. Now at 5:14. Today's question, we are asking you, what is your best sporting achievement, however small? In fact, the smaller the better. If you actually have a seriously good one, I don't really want to hear it. I want to hear about the small stuff. So we've got one in from Paul here on the text. I finished 5th in the Scottish Cross-Country Championships in 1986. I would have won it, but I missed the start as I was on the toilet. That's some good stuff. Paul, I'm gutted for you that you missed out there, but that's exactly the type of niche thing that you'll talk about in the pub one day, and you'll throw it back to, and people think you're insane. But I've got a lot of time for these niche achievements. Let us know your best sporting achievements. 03717 223344 or text 81089 at 5:15. Up next, we'll get the best of the back pages and the latest transfer news. This is talkSPORT.
saw Martin doing his interview afterwards and covering the players. It was an appallingly cowardly performance from Celtic.
Cowardly?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the goal that really started the rot was an unforgivable error from one of their players knocking it back into the space where the guy can just run in and score a goal, which brought them back from the dead, this team. And then to concede goals directly after half-time, you wonder what managers say to these players at half-time that makes them so unresponsive that they go and concede a goal. But I thought it was a dreadful performance. And all this nonsense about, they might have got lucky in the first leg. I didn't hear that narrative being spun out when they won the first leg 3-0. All of a sudden, people are saying, well, they got lucky in the first leg. They did have a lot of shots on goal, this team. Their expected XG was 3 last week, but they didn't score 3. They scored 0.
Yeah.
And in this instance, you look at the performance and you go, what Martin taking the blame for it. This is not about Martin O'Neill. This was about the players on the field. And they didn't buy this player. And they sold £36 million worth of players and they only bought in £32 million worth of players. And the players that came off the bench didn't look like they had the wherewithal. It should never got to the stage where extra time came to play and the players that came off the bench look all lost. They were just cowardly. They were 4-0 up in a Champions League qualifier with the game done. They hand them back an initiative by giving them 1 goal, and then they absolutely capitulate.
Yes, yeah. Cowardly.
But I mean, I know that will be extra, that will be lifted up and maybe quoted somewhere else. But you can't think of any other word. Now, Martin can do all the best he wants. Now, Martin will be privately seething and sitting there and realising that the players have let him down.
Fuming.
But what he will do as an old school manager is deflect from the players and make it about himself. There's nothing about what Martin O'Neill did.
Jingle, isn't it? Good morning, everyone. I'm Laura Kirk-Francis. You're listening to Early Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. What have you missed overnight? Well, Savio, the newly branded Savio, opens his Spurs account. Nathan Jones says EFL Cup is not winnable for smaller teams. That's after his Charlton side were hammered 5-1 by Spurs. And Jason Cundy has asked an existential question. What do Everton do? Much to discuss on that one. We're building up, of course, to 6 o'clock talkSPORT Breakfast this morning with Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonnahor. They'll get into Moses Atalma's world title fight this weekend and be joined by former 2-weight world champion Carl Frampton. A few other headlines you need to know about this morning. Liverpool will host Spurs in the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup as teams playing in Europe enter the competition. The other draw highlights holders Manchester City versus Norwich and Ipswich versus Arsenal. Don't forget the Champions League draw is live on talkSPORT Drive this afternoon from 5 p.m. A heroic effort by Hearts sees them qualify for the UEFA Conference League. Hearts beat Rapid Vienna on penalties in Austria after a 2-2 draw on the night left it 4-4 on aggregate. Delighted for Hearts. That heartbreak on the last day of the season, my word, I'm happy for them. I'm a secret Hearts fan from now on. And finally, Sir Nick Faldo's told talkSPORT, if the Live Golf Tour collapses, players returning to the established tours should have to work their way back from the bottom again.
If you didn't have any real status before on the tour, or exemptions as we call them, through your status, then I think you should go back to the start line and start again. I don't think you've got guys for the last 5 years who've bust their through the tour, to challenge tour, to get on tour here. So you can't just jump the queue. And I think, as I said, many should just go back to the start line and go back to whatever it is, the challenge tours and work. If you're skilled and determined and all that sort of thing, you'll get there.
For more on all the biggest stories, including the fallout from the struggles that Live Golf are facing, go to talksport.com. Right then, let's have a little whip round of what's going on in the transfer window. It's getting very busy as we head towards that deadline in a few days' time. So, talkSPORT exclusive. Man City are considering a move for Everton forward Iliman Ndiaye. Everton value the player at 80 million. And we're also hearing, how about this one? Everton and Aston Villa are interested in signing Jack Grealish. There are also reports that Sunderland are in for Grealish as well. City have denied an official approach. Oh, Jack Grealish back to Aston Villa. That could be a good story for this transfer window, couldn't it? But on the other side of things for Villa, Ollie Watkins' move to Al Hilal is close, with a deal agreed for around 52 million. That's another huge departure from Aston Villa after a difficult summer. However, they have also agreed a deal to sign Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea for £65 million and are back in talks with Southampton for centre-back Taylor Harwood-Bellis. Saints value him at about 30 million. So lots of dealings for Aston Villa over the next couple of days as well. But perhaps the pick of the bunch, I think, for me, in terms of just the narrative around this, how good would this be? Romantic move of the transfer window, potentially. Southampton are looking into re-signing James Ward-Prowse from West Ham. So bring him back to the Premier League, give him a couple more chances at those free kicks, which he is so well known for. And I think he's pretty close to the record. I think he needs 2 more and 1 away from Beckham. 1 away. James Ward-Prowse back in the Premier League potentially with Southampton if they can come up next year and he breaks that record. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Well, should the transfer window be open all year? There's a question for you. On Drive, Darren, Ben and Andy disagreed over whether teams should be able to buy and sell players all year round.
What's your problem with it having to be twice a year? Why can't it be all year round? I've got no problem with it.
See, I like the transfer window. It can just because the disruptions at certain times could cost teams at both ends of the table.
So you're aware that when I grew up as a kid, there was no transfer window.
But the money wasn't what it is today. So I understand why back then it was possible. That can't happen now.
No, the reason you're putting up your defence for why it shouldn't happen has nothing to do with money. It just has to do with you get to March, you might need a player, you're going to take it off a smaller. That scenario.
No, my point is, if you could buy a player whenever you wanted with the power that the clubs have got, I mean, it's just there's no end to it. But what I don't like is if you're a team fighting relegation, but you've got a player that's very good, i.e., we use him as an example, Jared Bowen. Yeah, I know they ultimately went down, but if it's nip and tuck for whether West Ham go down and one of the top teams get a big injury on that right hand side, okay, use an example, Arsenal. They like at any stage, April, May time, where you're trying to get towards the end of the season, but you just need someone, and you just take him from West Ham. I don't like that.
Interesting discussion there. I think I have to agree with Benty there because if you look at all the rules that we've introduced in terms of financial fair play, squad cost ratio, the profit and sustainability rules that are in, it's really about protecting the lower clubs as well as stopping the larger, richer clubs having a continuous advantage and a growing advantage over the smaller ones. So the example that Benty has used there is that, yeah, absolutely. Halfway through the season, if the transfer window is just open, there's nothing to stop some of the bigger teams just raiding the smaller ones when they have a really acute problem. So a really specific, right, we've got a left winger out, or we've got a kind of fullback out, we need to go and get someone. What's to stop them just going and stockpiling talent? So I think also from an admin point of view, it must be a nightmare for clubs constantly having to worry about selling, buying players throughout the season. So I'm all in favour of keeping it as it is at the moment. We've already had it extended. It's already long enough. Imagine it going all year round. We'd talk about nothing else, would we? Forget football. We'd constantly talk about people coming and going. All the latest transfer news at talkSPORT.com. Now on the text today, we're talking about your best sporting achievements. And this is before we speak to a man who is not going home to his fiancée till he shoots a round of golf under par. We're going to talk to him after 5:30. Paul from Stafford says, I scored 100 against a strong Turkey truck driver cricket team. Fantastic. 100 is 100, doesn't matter who it's against. Dave, I got a hat-trick in under-11s cricket and was presented with the ball in school assembly. Sensational stuff. Another Dave from Sutton, I won the under-16s All-England Hurling Championship. I'm still close friends with many of the team today. You got a WhatsApp group with them together? I'm sure I read somewhere that the Leicester side, who won the title in 2016, still have a WhatsApp group together. And Drew says, I bowled out Katrina Withers in New Zealand as an 11-year-old. She later played for New Zealand. That's reminded me, actually, that one, winning the under-16s. I won the 2005 under-14s Sportswoman of the Year award when I was at school, and I was presented with a signed copy of Kelly Holmes' autobiography, and I still have it. It's a treasured achievement. Get in touch with the show, 81089 or 03717 22 3344. Right then, let's have a look at today's back pages. Nick Ellaby's back in the studio.
Listen, the text board is absolutely blowing up.
We've got some talented sporting listeners.
Really talented listeners. I also just want to come back to Paul. I mean, yes, I did say I opposed the question, are Newcastle a small club? What I was doing is comparing them to the traditional Big Six. I didn't want to say you're a small club. Paul, I'm sorry. You're right to say that Newcastle could fill an 80,000 seat stadium every game. But, you know, that I wasn't accusing...
Yeah, as you said, you're using a comparative.
Newcastle are massive.
Newcastle are smaller than Real Madrid, though. That's just a fact.
Smaller, comparative.
Smaller.
What's the best Ayub Bouadi headline? Is it Moroccan roll star?
Okay.
That's pretty good.
That's nice. Yeah.
The teenage thing is always a nice one for headline writers. Teenage fan club in the back of the Daily Express Sport. Did you see this kid play in the World Cup? Ayub Bouadi, 18 years old, 86 million he comes into Man City for.
I did. I remember his performance against Brazil, I think it was, early on. And that's where I think he probably added 10 to 15 million to his price tag. So what has he gone for, Nick, in terms of the price that City have agreed him for?
£86 million deal, it is.
£86 million deal. He's still very young as well, and I think he can also play it right back. So they're getting a very diverse, very young player. If I'm honest, I wanted Arsenal to go in for him, but he's ended up at the Etihad. Fair enough. 86 million. Wow. How old is he? 18, 19?
18.
Wow.
You've got enough. The most expensive teenager in Premier League history.
That can be his sporting achievement, do we think?
Well,
the moment.
That's a pretty decent one.
Pretty decent.
Boycott averted. UEFA are dropping their threat after FIFA promised no World Cup sale. This is an exclusive Nick Ames, Matt Hughes in the back of The Guardian. UEFA is dropping that boycott of FIFA competitions. I mean, essentially, that boycott would not have worked because it would have meant, you know, complaints about the men's World Cup leading into problems for the under-20 World Cup, the women's World Cup next summer. So it's not a good look if we start pulling out of those competitions because of a mess, you know, with the men's World Cup. And also, this bride and cast story's got a little bit juicier. Now, it's been confirmed that Derbyshire police are now investigating an alleged assault in connection to his arrest and de-arrest in a nightclub in Derby. I was just wondering whether cricket obviously has got an issue where the players still drink way too much. Do you think they should just be banned completely from drinking alcohol? Because there are so many people out there that would give their right eye to play professional sport, and then to see these guys, you know, wazzing it up the wall. It's not a good look, is it?
I wonder if if you're going to, because the problem is not necessarily the drink, it's that being in a public place, you're likely, I guess, to get recognised. There just seems to be something that attracts, particularly the cricket players, to nightclubs and altercations with people in a way that, you know, you can go out and have a drink and we don't need to get in a fight. So I wonder if it's more, and I know this was the point of the curfew, wasn't it? We talked about earlier this summer when Ben Stokes was caught out after the curfew, which kind of led to his, I guess, you know, losing the captaincy and then ultimately where he's ended up now, retiring. Would it make any difference, Nick, if they just said you cannot go out to a nightclub? Drink all you want at home. That to me, that's the problem. It's being out and about as a professional sportsman and maybe attracting people who are going, do you know what, I'll have a bit of a scrap with him.
Obviously, they're getting targeted and everyone's got their mobile phone out, but it's getting to the stage where you have to treat them like children. The thing I don't understand, and actually really upset me over the winter, is why were they getting hammered in the middle of the Ashes, the biggest series of their lives? Yeah, right, have a drink, it's fine, like a few days off, but I don't get it how elite sportsmen are getting smashed in the middle of a career-defining series. Anyway, rant over.
How old is Brian Coss?
He's mid to late 20s.
Mid to late 20s. I also think if you're getting into a nightclub at 30, you're too old. You're too old for a nightclub.
Ben Stokes is still there.
Oh, clearly. And look how that ended up for him. Nick, thank you. Yes. At 5:29, I'm Laura Kirk-Francis. You're listening to Early Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT, sponsored by Costa Express. Get a regular Costa Express drink as part of your Tesco meal deal at participating Tesco stores. T's and C's apply. Up next, we'll have some fun with the front pages and meet the man who's not going home till he shoots a round of golf under par.
ain't back, are we?
No.
We ain't back.
No,
I'm
you're
a
not.
bit worried, mate. I'm a bit worried now.
You're taking 10th? You consider... Okay, give me this. I'm giving you 10th now. Are you considering it?
Maybe. Yeah, I might put...
Mate, at 7:30 on Saturday, you might be taking both arms off.
Oh, God. You know what I was worried about, right? We made all these signings.
What part are you worried about?
No, I mean, the front three is just so bad. I can't believe that front three. It was unbelievable. Mikey Moore, Tell and Richarlison. The team looked worse than last season. Like, when you actually looked at it, Spurs' team looked worse than last season. The only player you'd say in there was Tenali, where we paid 100 million for him, right?
Toenail.
But, you know, like, really...
Tonali.
Van Hecker and Senesi at the back, right? Van der Ven is better than Senesi. Van Hecker had a bit of a stinker. Romero, on his day, is better than Van Hecker, all right? Archie Gray is not as good as Porro. And left back, Robertson, okay, I thought he'd done all right. But, you know, we need a bit more from him, but it's first game.
What about Slipsky?
The front three was just... It was awful.
What about Slipsky?
Yeah, he didn't have his best afternoon, did he?
He lumped the ball up to Richarlison. Richarlison trying to win a cheap free kick.
It wasn't ideal, mate. It was a bad start. It really was.
Well, do you know what, Jay? It's about things. So things can only get better. Maybe they could get worse.
The German leading England. It all sounds a little bit odd, but as Thomas Tuchel tries to bring football home, here's how he ended up in one of the most scrutinised jobs in sport. Well, Tuchel started his footballing journey in the sleepy town of Krimbach. His leadership skills were obvious from an early age, with Tuchel even making subs during PE volleyball sessions. After a knee injury ended his playing career at the age of 25, Tuchel accepted his first coaching role in the Stuttgart U setup in 2000. He led the club's under-19s to their league title 5 years later, but his perceived abrasive personality meant Stuttgart chose not to renew his contract. He went on to spend 5 years at the helm at Mainz before leaving the club for Dortmund. And there, Tuchel secured his first major trophy, the German Cup, in 2017. 8 more pieces of silverware came next for Tuchel in just 5 seasons at PSG, Chelsea and Bayern Munich. And that CV impressed the top brass at the FA.
We found so many similarities and so many things that suited my approach and my hunger to achieve special things. I always wanted to come back to England.
Well, he says all the right things, but is destiny on Tuchel's side?
Good morning to you. Thursday, August the 27th. This is Early Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT, on talkSPORT Breakfast this morning from 6 a.m. Is Alan Brazil? I don't know if it is Alan Brazil. I think it's Ali McCoyce. Gabby Agbon-Lahore. We'll see. Might get a surprise a bit later. They'll be getting into last night's win for Everton in the Carabao Cup. There you go, Jason Cundy. That's what Everton do. They win in the early rounds of the Carabao Cup. That's after Jason Cundy questioned on the Sports Bar, what is the point of Everton? What is the point of Everton? I don't know. They'll also be joined by former Oldham Athletic and Ipswich Town manager Joe Royle. Some of your headlines this Thursday morning. Scotty Scheffler has declared himself fit as he bids for the $10 million FedEx Cup in Atlanta. The world number one was hampered by blisters caused by hand, foot and mouth disease last week. And there's coverage of the FedEx Cup tonight from 9:30 p.m. on talkSPORT 2. Hull KR could rest several players for the Super League trip to Wigan Warriors tonight. Rovers playing their fourth game in 15 days, and coach Willie Peters says a combination of injuries and fatigue will likely mean a less experienced lineup. And in cricket, England captain Joe Root says his players know what's expected of them ahead of the second test against Pakistan, which starts at Lord's today. Build-up has been dominated by bowler Bryden Cast getting in trouble on a night out. It's emerged police are now investigating an alleged assault connected to his arrest and de-arrest. Joe Root's determined to put the focus back on cricket after last week's win at Headingley.
I thought it was a brilliant performance. I thought the way we played was exceptional, and we have to align that with being exceptional off the field as well, and understand what that looks like and how we want to represent ourselves and our nation.
Yeah, for more on all the biggest stories and coverage of that test match today, go to talksport.com. Now, at 5:37, it is time to speak to a man who is not going home. He is not going home till he shoots a round of golf under par.
4! Straight down the middle. It went straight down the middle.
Straight down the middle there. Big Crosby. Straight down the middle of somewhere where my golf shots never go. It's a part of the course I've never seen. But hey, I'm getting my money's worth. I'm at least seeing all parts of the golf course when I play golf. Club golfer Hugo Chambre is camping from John O'Groats to Land's End and playing a round every day as he attempts to break par. And I'm delighted to welcome Hugo joining us this morning. Morning, Hugo. How are you doing?
Morning. Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Right then. The first question I think we all need answered. Why? Why are you doing this?
That's a good question, as I'm sat in my girlfriend's Fiat 500 on the side of the road in North Yorkshire, about 25 minutes south of Middlesbrough, having just camped at a camping site / petting zoo around Saltburn, which, I've had a lot of time to think about that question. I suppose why not is one answer. I like a challenge. I'm quite competitive, and I'm sort of a half decent golfer. You know, I'm a 6 handicapper. I was at the start of this trip, and I've had a few rounds where I've been relatively close to breaking par and then bottled it. And I thought, do you know what? I'd love to see more of the UK. I'm a bit of a golf nutter. I've got the bug, and why not try and do this every day, camp out, see how long it takes, and the idea kind of snowballed from there.
I mean, petting zoo and camping aside, it does sound like an absolute dream. It sounds like an incredible adventure. What's the best course that you've played so far?
Yeah, it has been amazing, and also just playing courses all over, whether it's Cornwall, Wales, Cumbria. There's a course that completely blew me away on the coast of North Wales called Borth and Ynyslas, which I just went in with absolutely no expectations. The clubhouse is pretty undistinguished, and they were kind of talking it down almost before I went there, and just absolutely blew me away. A sort of proper normal people's golf club, and the views were unbelievable. The course was really fun, and I had a bit of a heartbreak there actually. I'm discovering, I feel like we always wonder what if I had a big moment to take a penalty for England or something. I'm really discovering that I'm not a big game player. I'm not a mentality monster. I've had a few close calls where I feel the pressure coming, and it gets to me. So that's been tough.
I was going to ask, how close have you got to par, and what is it that lets you down? You've just said there it's the mentality. Do you get to the putting green and you just think this is too big and you just choke? How close have you got to getting to par?
I've been 2 under, stood on the 15th tee, and 1 under, stood on the 17th tee in that round, and thrown it away. I think I shot 3 over that day.
Oh, so that's crushing. Absolutely crushing.
I've felt close, but yeah, that's been tough for the ego, tough for the mind, and a lot of time to ruminate on rounds of golf like that. I suppose the good part is that I'm playing every day, so there's always the next day to get back on the horse. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like maybe my best chance is to kind of sneak up on it, maybe be sort of 1 over with 2 to play. And then birdie last 2, so that there's not too much time to think about it. Maybe this isn't the most confident talk from a sports person.
No, let me before I let you go to your next course. Then one final question. I'm an amateur golfer, right? I've also got the bug. Actually, Shaban and I are going to be playing next week.
Right.
From what you've learned over your career as a golfer and on this trip, what is one simple tip you'd give to an amateur golfer to make the whole experience less excruciating? Because my gosh, this is a brilliant sport, but it is so frustrating. What is one simple tip that you could give me?
Yeah, I mean, I need to take my own advice on this as well. Just every golfer just needs to chill out a bit. Like, we all have none of us are that good. We all have way too high expectations. We all get too frustrated, and we see golfers on TV make it look really easy. They're playing a different sport. Just enjoy it. If you can hit the middle of the green and have a 25-foot putt for par, that's not too bad. So yeah, chill out, enjoy the views, and let the golf come to you. I need to take that advice.
That's absolutely. That sounds like advice that you should say to yourself. Hugo, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck, and we look forward to hearing about when you finally make par.
Cheers. I'll see you in a couple of years.
Good stuff there. That is Hugo Chambre then, who is camping from John O'Groats to Land's End and playing a round of golf every day as he attempts to break par. Wow, what an adventure. On the text today, we're asking you about your best sporting achievements. Maybe that'll be Hugo's when he finally hits par. That'll be his. Dave in the Wirral says, I've been playing golf since July and I've just managed to break 100, hit 84 last night, absolutely buzzing. Dave, that is sensational. That is sensational. I don't know if you can print out a certificate for yourself or something, or if that's a bit lame. But that's brilliant. Breaking 100 is a goal of mine, which maybe we'll get to in the next 10 years or so. Callum says, I managed a Sunday league team to a league title. Did you wear a suit? Did you wear a suit on the touchline? That's fantastic stuff. Josh says 100 metre and 220 metre regional champion. Fantastic. Mike, the pinnacle of my football career was 2-footing a guy who was trying to get with my girlfriend. Mike, I don't condone violence. I really don't. But also, yeah, you know, if you're going to do it on a football pitch, because you can at least say, look, I was just trying to get the ball there. Took half the man as well, but I was just trying to get the ball. Chris says, I can do the round the world trick on command. What's the round the world trick? Is that something to do with a yo-yo? No idea. Chris, I need a bit more specifics. I can do the round the world trick on command. No idea what that is, but it sounds great. Someone who hasn't put their name on it, I won an amateur fishing competition with a 3-incher. Darren, I rode 3,200 miles across the Atlantic with 2 other London cabbies. Darren, that's far too good for this conversation, okay? You're rowing across the Atlantic. That's an actual sporting achievement. That's just phenomenal. Get back in touch. Tell us how long that took, and also why were you doing that? And then John in Bolton, I completed the Bolton Ironman in 11 hours 40 minutes. I have nothing but respect for anyone who's done an Ironman. I don't know how you have the mentality to do the swim, then the bike, and then what stands between you and finishing is a marathon, which in itself is an unbelievable achievement. To any other Iron men, Iron women, even if you've done a half as well, that's also unbelievably impressive to me. John, wow. I hope you are one of those people that's got the Iron Man tattooed on your body somewhere. That's the only acceptable way, I think, to do it. You can send us a text, 81089. Time now for a little bit of this from the front pages.
It's a front page throwdown.
Oh, what a move.
The front pages first on the early sports breakfast. talkSPORT.
All right.
All right, Nick's back. What have we got today?
A couple of things. We're going to do this very quickly. We've got 2 stories. Also, round the world is when you do keep-ups.
Yep.
And you flick your foot all the way around the ball and then come back and catch it again and keeping it up.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, very impressive.
Top story in today's front pages is record summer of snake invaders.
Oh, no.
This is in the Stars.
No.
An exclusive.
Oh, okay.
Star. Stephen Moyes. Shout out to him. A record number of snakes have slithered into houses this summer, with experts linking it to the hot weather. They include an escaped boa constrictor, adders, and corn snakes.
Right.
You ever seen an adder in this? Because we've got poisonous snakes.
You've seen one, haven't you?
I saw one on a walk in Surrey.
Oh, no.
I went for a wee in the bushes by the sort of cow field, and I looked down and there was an adder next to my foot.
That's my worst nightmare.
Small one.
Why are they coming inside? Do you think it's because it's too... Are they looking for shade?
Yeah, looking for shade, looking for somewhere to just chill out, probably trying to get out of the sun. Well, they like basking in the sun, don't they?
No.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, if you're someone who owns a snake, I just think it's completely unacceptable that it ever escapes. They should be locked down. How is a boa constrictor escaping?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite careless.
It's terrifying.
Well,
Absolutely
someone let
terrifying.
a panther loose yesterday. I don't know if you heard the breakfast show. 5 foot long grass snake. Grass snakes are getting bigger than ever as well. So obviously, as the weather gets colder, we're going to see fewer of those. And just quickly, Harry and Meghan are back in the UK to start their life, a new life here. What I was wondering is, when you're away from England or the UK, what do you miss the most?
Ooh.
For me, it's bacon.
But yeah, especially when you go to somewhere like the States and they do bacon in such a weird way.
Cheese is terrible.
It's terrible. I miss Cadbury chocolate.
Really?
It doesn't taste the same anywhere else in the world. It's the type of thing when I land home, you're tired off the plane, I'm straight to WH Smith and I'm getting a dairy milk. It's small things like that I think you get homesick over.
There you go.
Actually, the thing that I miss the most is my dog.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. I mean, everyone misses their dogs.
Fair enough.
No, I mean, listen, we love the dogs, but
okay, I'm not allowed to miss my dog.
Chocolate and bacon.
Chocolate and bacon. Yeah, it's the small things that you don't realise that actually make you feel really homesick.
Exactly.
Bacon and chocolate.
Lovely.
Love
it. That's the front pages.
Good stuff. At 5:47, you're listening to Early Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT, sponsored by Costa Express. Get a regular Costa Express drink as part of your Tesco meal deal at participating Tesco stores. Terms and conditions apply. I'm Laura Kirk-Francis. Up next, we look ahead to tonight's Carabao Cup and Conference League games, and you could win a trip to the Ashes down under.
Would you both have expected better than what you saw from Tottenham? And I think the answer
I'm
to
not
that
surprised
is,
that they lost.
Oh, yes.
I'm not surprised that they lost, but the
Not
manner...
taking anything away from Brentford, though.
No, the manner in which they lost surprised me.
Right.
There didn't seem to be any
Right.
fight or any change in gear, or the mindset hasn't changed. It's exactly the same. A soft underbelly from Spurs, and they're going to have to eradicate that very quickly.
And both of you think they'll do one hell of a lot better than 17th.
Well, they've
so
with
do you
the players
still
they're now
have
buying,
heightened
yes.
expectations that they might be top half? Then they might be top 6.
No, I'm thinking top half of the table. I'm not saying they're going to be, it would be a surprise. They could do 6th, 7th, but they're going to have to improve massively, Jim, from what we saw at the weekend. And where are these players that have been injured for so long? Look, there's an awful lot of players.
Fit, isn't he?
Van der Ven wasn't available, Jim. You look at the back four, there's hardly anybody playing from last season. So they're facts, but get them fit then. Let's get them out there.
We saw Newcastle yesterday and how they went about it. We saw they're at home, yeah. But we saw Tottenham and how they went about it. It was chalk and cheese.
But I think this is great for De Zerbi because he'll sort the wheat from the chaff. And for me, I don't have any expectation of Tottenham. They're not my football club. So, I don't particularly admire their board and I don't particularly like their manager. So I don't have an objective view. So I'm quite happy to see them struggle. But that's me being mean-spirited. But you would, for the Tottenham fans, who are plenty of my friends are Tottenham fans, you've gone to Brentford. You've been battered. You could have got beat 7.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been a surprise because they were that dominant. They missed the penalty. They had other chances, Brentford.
Yeah.
Here's that. Next March, the England cricket team face Australia in the 150th anniversary test match down under. And as always, the Barmy Army will be there. Thanks to TalkSPORT, Visit Victoria could be too. Enter now at talksportwin.com for the chance to score an incredible week-long trip for 2 to watch the 150th anniversary test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. Enter now at talksportwin.com and get ready to experience the electric atmosphere that only a Barmy Army tour delivers.
How are you doing? I'm Laura Kirk-Francis. This is the early sports breakfast on talkSPORT. What have we got coming up today on talkSPORT? Well, more Carabao Cup action as Xabi Alonso's Chelsea host Jack Wilshere's Luton. Alonso says he's only had normal conversations. I wonder what those are. Normal conversations with Robert Sanchez since their opening Premier League victory over Fulham on Monday night. The keeper was criticised for his role in both of their opponents' goals. Chelsea have since been linked with Aston Villa's Emi Martinez. Alonso says he's been trying to keep Sanchez focused on tonight's EFL Cup tie with Luton.
We have talked more about team thing, about what we did well, what we have to do better. So it was more about understanding the context, and every game is going to be important because we are in this process that we still need to develop.
Yeah, Alonso there obviously playing down any talk about replacing Robert Sanchez, but I think Emi Martinez to Chelsea could be a huge game changer in this potential title race. Chelsea looked so good going forward, didn't they, on Monday night? Morgan Rogers there, Cole Palmer back to really what we used to think of Cole Palmer a couple of seasons ago. Looks like he's going to have a fantastic season ahead. If you look at any of the big sides that have won the Premier League in the past couple of years, elite goalkeeper is so important, isn't it? And Emi Martinez, World Cup winner Emi Martinez, we thought he was leaving last season, but he could be getting his move away from Villa Park in the next couple of days, and I think that would really throw Chelsea into the mix in terms of that title race if they can retain how good they were going forward, and also adding in that elite goalkeeper at the back. Really exciting stuff. They play tonight, of course, in the Carabao Cup second round, 7:30 live on talkSPORT. Chelsea versus Luton. Jack Wilshere. Arsenal's Jack Wilshere's Luton stand in their way. Wilshere joined the League One side in October, and he has really helped stabilise Luton within a point of the playoffs, I think it was. So he's done a really good job there. But yeah, 7:30 Chelsea versus Luton on talkSPORT. Over in the Conference League qualifying then, Brighton host Tromsø with a tie currently at 0-0. We asked Fabian Hertzler about his first season managing in European competitions.
A challenge for me as a coach, because it will be the first time for me heading into Europe. That's an opportunity for me, but also a challenge where we have to manage it in the right way. But in the end, for exactly that what we wanted for fans, because we want to make the next step as a club. We want to go the next step, and if you really want to be consistent in the journey, be consistent in this progress, you need to be capable of playing Premier League and in Europe, and both in a positive and successful way.
Brighton versus Tromsø is live and exclusive on talkSPORT 2, 7:30 this evening. Now, are you ready for the trip of a lifetime? We're sending you and a mate down under.
The 150th anniversary test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army.
Now, imagine being in Melbourne next March, watching England take on Australia at the 150th Test match, completely on us. Thanks to Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army, you and a mate could win the ultimate 7-night, all-inclusive trip to Melbourne. We're talking return flights, match tickets for all 5 days, an exclusive function with cricket legends, and a tour of the Great Ocean Road. For your chance to win, visit talksportwin.com or text WIN to 83338 by 6 p.m. on the 1st of September 2026. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or send your name and number by post to Comp2 PO Box 3190 Colchester CO2 8GP to arrive by midnight on the 4th of September 2026. 18 plus, UK residents only. So for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 now. This is your network promotion. Full terms and conditions at talksportwin.com. Good luck.
The 150th anniversary test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army.
Right then, back to you, our incredibly talented sporting listeners then. We've been asking you this morning, what are your best sporting achievements? Now, I can see Gabby Agbonlahor staring at me. Now, I wonder if his would be winning... What did you win in 2008, Gabby Agbonlahor? Was it something like the Audi Cup? Something like that? Yeah? Is that about right? There we go. Player of the month. Okay, sure. We'll add that then. Lots of you getting involved on the text here of your best sporting achievements. Mutine says, I got 2 wickets in my first over in school cricket, aged 12. What a debut. Paul, the happy Spurs fans. Oh, Paul, it was Charlton. Come on now. From Holland on Sea says, I got a bronze at Crystal Palace Athletic Stadium. We don't mention that there were only 3 competitors. It's still a bronze, okay? 3rd out of 3rd is still a bronze medal. Tyler says, I just cycled 113 miles from Brighton to Margate for charity. That's a long old way, Tyler. Wow, what an achievement. Laurie, I scored the winner in an under-11 semi-final for my school. I was dropped for the final. That's outrageous. That's outrageous. But look, as managers, we have to take difficult decisions. And ultimately, if you didn't think what you had, what it took to take it to the next level in the final, Laurie, then I'm sorry. The winner in the semi-final is going to be your pinnacle. Lee in Sheffield, me and my Sheffield Blazers Ice Hockey Club completed our first treble-winning season last year. Oh, you'll never sing that. Dean Rafferty, I am Nottinghamshire's pie-eating champion. Wow. What kind of pies are we talking here? Are we talking meat pies, any pie, sweet pies? Darren says I bowled a perfect game in 10-pin bowling. P.S. Snakes can escape easily. Darren, I don't want to know how easily snakes can escape. I really don't want to. Thank you very much for getting in touch today. Some really interesting sporting achievements there. Finally, almost time for talkSPORT Breakfast today. Loads more coming up on the talkSPORT Breakfast today. Of course, joining Alan Brazil. Is it Alan Brazil? Is it Alan Brazil? Is Ali McCoyce? Yeah, don't worry, Alan Brazil, if you're listening, you're not going to be missing work today. Joining Ali McCoyce and Gabby Agbonlahor today. This is what we have got coming up on Breakfast. Former Spurs striker Mido will go over their Carabao Cup win against Charlton. Former world boxing champion Carl Frampton previews Moses Atam. There's the music. There it is. I'm in. Am I going to wait for the drop? Yeah, okay, here we go. Ramp it up. All right, here we go. Right, where was I? Former world boxing champion Carl Frampton previews Moses Atama's fight with Filip Hrgovic this weekend, and Sean Dyche is back on the show. You have been listening to the Early Sports Breakfast with me, Laura Kirk-Francis, Ali and Gabby on the way next.
I've got to stop you there, right? Because I've heard this guff from you and Gabby today, all right? Going on about Spurs overspending, overpaying for players.
Whoa,
all right?
wait,
and I can't believe Crookie has got the cheek to come on here as a Man United fan and say that Belieber's a good deal at 70 million. He was guff last season. He didn't play.
I think you'll find Belieber at 70 million is going to be better value for money than Savinho at 85.
Oh, mate, you're talking absolute crap.
I'll have a little bet for you. Let's have a little bet. Who has the better season?
You signed Anthony for 75 million. You sold Pogba for £100 million.
What's going on here? Why are you two falling out?
No, but
hold on, what's going on?
Because I keep hearing Crookie go on like Man United are doing good deals.
What's happening here? Why are you two
and
rowing?
Spurs are spending too much money on players. Like,
we'll have a
having a laugh.
forfeit at the end of the season, Jamie. Jason can judge at the end of the season whoever makes more impact for their club, Belieber or Savinho. The loser has to do a show. You do it in a United shirt. I'll
Hold
do
on,
it in a
Crookie.
shirt.
Savinho could score 25 goals this season, and Cundy will still say Belieber's at it.
Belieber's going to be the better player.